Sure. Well, first off, we look at, what are the challenges with managing work in today's world, and how the tools that we've relied on, whether it's to-do lists or, an Outlook task manager, calendars, how those things just really don't keep up with today's busy lifestyles. The thing that's changed now is a lot of our work is intangible, right? We can't touch it, we can't feel it. It's through a computer. It doesn't have a shape or a form like, see someone who's a carpenter. You can actually see what he's doing and see that inventory of things that he's working on. So the first part of the course really looks at how our brain processes work, and recognizes that we're far more effective at seeing things visually than we are just through words, for example. And that's why to-do lists don't really give us a lot of feedback. So it gets into the power of visualization, which is the first rule of the system called personal Kanban, to visualize our work, and then through that we get a lot more insight and can reduce our anxiety by really being able to see things truly for what they are, whether it's the kind of work that we're doing, the kind of work that we're ignoring, what's the current state of it, kind of creating like a real-time dashboard. And then we get into some of the, well, how are we going to create our own system? And what's really great about personal Kanban is it molds who you are. There's a lot of systems out there that are kind of complicated or have a bunch of rules, and just you have to kind of twist and contort your body to kind of fit into their structure. Whereas with personal Kanban, each system I find is unique, and so we show you the different ways that you can shape and mold your own system, which makes it more fun, right? You can put your own creativity into it. You can add your own flavor to it. Once you really created your initial system, just that alone will give you a ton of value. And then beyond that, when you feel ready, you can go deeper into the course and kind of, add a lot more deeper insight into the nature of your work by adding different ways to prioritize work, looking at balancing flow, right? One of the killers to our time is trying to juggle too many balls at one time. Kind of that we're good at starting, but often lousy at finishing.
Yeah, well, my wife tells me I can't multitask. I don't believe her, of course, but...
Well, science will tell you that you can't multitask either. Actually, what we do is we context switch, right? So we move from one thing to the other. But the problem is we lose a lot of overhead when we do that. And our brains actually crave closure. So there's something called the Zeigarnik effect. And what that says is I may be focused on this task here, but all the other tasks that I haven't gotten completed, my brain is still processing them. So I can't fully concentrate on this thing because my brain is still paying attention to all those other things. So my level of focus is down, my level of quality is down, and of course then my level of productivity is down. And so what that does is then, that creates more pressure to get things done, which then creates more issues around qualitativity and productivity, and it's kind of this downward spiral.
Yeah, I mean, I get driven nuts when I have to sort of butterfly between one thing and another. I find it the most intensely frustrating thing, that I'm trying to concentrate on one thing and other things demand my attention.
Exactly. And then after a while with this frustration, we get so desperate in a way to complete anything. And so what happens now is all those 10-minute tasks that really aren't that valuable or that important, all of a sudden leapfrog ahead of those bigger, noble, more valuable pieces of work just because we can have the satisfaction of getting them done. So we kind of sabotage our efforts by not getting things done. We just start grabbing anything that we can do to feel a sense of accomplishment. Mm. Yeah. So what a visual system will do is it'll reflect that back to us, right? It'll show us where we're spending our time, and it'll also help us to see how many of those balls that we're juggling. And by applying the second rule of personal Kanban, which is about limiting work in progress, we can help ourselves make better choices to recognize, I better not start this thing until I've gotten that thing done. And that's really where we start to find our flow and really hit a higher gear. Kind of much like traffic. You think about traffic on the highway, busy hours, anything, or rush hours, anything but rushing, because we're all in gridlock, because while our system is capable of handling that many things, the ability to get anything done in that environment is next to nil.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for all of us, what we have to do is find our optimal flow. What's the right amount of cars on our personal highway that'll allow us to reach our peak performance? And so what I like about the system that we teach in the course is it's not just about getting things done, but it's about helping you learn more about yourself, which makes it exciting. It's kind of a process of discovery week by week.
And is this something you just do on a piece of paper or something, or do you have to have some special software or something?
Well, there's either approach, and I always recommend, where possible, to use the physical paper approach, which sounds kind of ironic in today's tech-driven world, and myself being in the IT industry. That's certainly kind of ironic, but even software teams doing really elaborate projects, they will often use a whiteboard or some other physical system to manage their work, because the thing is, when you've got a wall where you can put Post-its up, for instance, you can really see things very clearly, right? On a small monitor, you lose a lot of that visibility, and visibility is one of the key aspects of the system.
Yeah.
Now, that being said, I'm a consultant. I travel around. I'm not in one place all the time, so I use a digital system myself. And for a lot of us, whether we're working with a team that's spread around the world, or we just happen to need something always on the go, then a digital system is the way to go for us. And there's lots of tools out there you can choose from, and most of them have a free version for personal use. They're really going after teams and large organizations for their paid stuff.
Somebody taking your course doesn't need to rush off and get some expensive piece of software. They can just do it. They can just do it at home.